Revelation 12:11 states that we will overcome the enemy by the power in the blood or our life. The life that we have within us is what blood means, not the physical life. But the blood of the Lamb refers to the blood of the one that is sacrificing to find himself. Well, that sacrificing is happening in everyone right now. And it says that they loved not their lives, even unto death. When I've spoken of Christ to you in the past, I've always shown you that in order to find Christ, there must be something about this flesh world that disturbs you, so you're not happy there. Well, that's what's taking place today. So I want to say to everyone that is alive right now and hearing these words that you are blessed because you are here. Even though the enemy can do really remarkably evil things, everything will be used by the Father of all things. This is not a religion. It's not a country. The Father of all things you're going to see rise up in people. You're also going to see the enemy of all things rise up in people. This is a time right now that to take stock in the things of true value, things that aren't temporary, things that are permanent. My love for you is permanent. My love for all of you is permanent. My love for the Father, the source of all things, is permanent. The Christ in me is permanent. What is not permanent? Well, everything that everyone right now is fighting so hard to hang on to. They want to believe in America. I'd like to let you in on not a secret, but something that is right in front of our faces, and the most obvious thing for us to recognize. That if this situation is indicative of what's taking place in the future, and this situation is going to grow and get worse and alter things, it will never be better until everybody on this planet begins to recognize one thing, and you will see it take place. Flags are going to fall. This is not an America problem. This is a human problem. Flags need to fall. Patriotism is impermanent. It's great to have pride in how you think, but when we've drawn lines between these countries, we have definitively said that you're not me and I'm not you. This is a very dangerous, wicked, bent road. This is a global problem. And the globe is witnessing this. The name of this channel being Global Witness. The Global Witness. Because as we add your eyes to what is actually happening, as we add your eyes and your heart to the all of people that understand that flags need to fall, that's going to happen. And then, of course, according to Scripture, we do know that they will try to rise a single flag. But if you want to know what the return of the Son of Man really means, what Christ meant, the return of the Son of Man, what could he have possibly meant? Did he mean himself exclusively, individually? No, he didn't. The return of the Son of Man will be like lightning striking in the east and flashing in the west. That's not a single man. That's a massive amount of people. Now, that massive amount of people, keep in mind, is also called the narrow and the few. Right now, we're recognizing that the patriotism and the loyalty to what you thought you knew, the loyalty to what you thought you believed was true. It's a very dangerous thing to lend all of your faith to any institution that is doing things that you're unaware of in your name. When the word says, "Get out of her, my people," the word is speaking of just this very day. Get out of her. Get out of the world. The ones that have built and structured this world, the financial systems, all of it, it is being torn to shreds intentionally. You might not understand why they would do such a thing, but if you follow the Alpha Omega playlist from the beginning on this channel, you'll learn. You have time to watch. Binge watch it. You're going to learn something. So if somebody says, "Oh, you hate America, you don't have any faith in America," why would I have faith, and why would I put so much faith in something so temporary, so impermanent, and really something so impersonal? There is nothing personal about being an American, only the thing that they've taught you, to pledge allegiance to a flag. You're going to start to hear these words quite differently. And the establishment of new words are being put forth to you. These are new paradigm shifts. That's why these new phrases like sheltering in place are being established. Sheltering in place rather than just stay home. These are the politically soft ways of saying something, because when they're enforcing this, enforce, and believe me, they will, it's not going to look so pleasant. You're not going to look so free. And you're going to realize that this country and every other country founded on the idea that we were doing good, you're going to see just how much good we were actually doing. And so the importance of this is not to tell you that, oh, this is an awful country or anything, but the mere fact that we're battling over giving people some money so that they can eat and pay their basic bills when the government has forced everyone out of work. And they're debating this, while at night they hand the banks trillions of dollars over the last month without any congressional approval. You're the last in this country to receive benefits. You're the last that they really care about. They've told you that they do, but their actions demonstrate that they have other agendas, other priorities other than you. You're not their priority. Maintaining their kingdom, which is quite different than ours, is their priority. Flags will fall. They need to. These are difficult truths for somebody that is patriotic to hear. I get it. But that patriotism is temporary. And when you've learned some of the things that you don't know, you'll be destroyed. Everybody is trying desperately to hang on to what they once had. Forget it. It'll never be the same. Ever. What will always be the same, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, is who you really are inside, the Christ in you. The desperation of Christ to tell you these things through many people, not just one man. This is why he said himself, Jesus said, "You will do greater things than even I have done." How could you do such a thing if you couldn't also be him? When he said to pick up your own cross, he wasn't kidding. Pick it up. That's what this is forcing you to do. You have something so beautiful and so glorious waiting for you if you do that. I'm going to play a video here by a gentleman by the name of Eckhart Tolle, and he is a beautiful soul. He has a very unique way of looking at things, but in this instance, he, in a very rare case, opens the Bible, and I assure you, he doesn't read Paul's words or anyone else's. Have a listen to Eckhart Tolle, and I think that you'll hear many of the things that I've said, but sometimes it's nice to hear it from another heart. I love you very much. I pray that all of you are in peace. All of you are mending bridges between those that are actually valuable to you. Forget about the ones that are not valuable. It's not the one that is going to give you the next job. It's not the person that you think that you're friends with because you've made a deal with another company. It's none of those things. None of those of my friends, none of those people exist in my life anymore. I still stay in contact with some because they'll want a little piece of truth from time to time. They're all waking up too, just like you. For those that are already awake, for those that have been a part of this channel for some time, the only way that people are receiving these videos right now is by sharing them, because YouTube is certainly not making these videos accessible. I'm also going to, at the end of this video with Eckhart Tolle, I'm going to play a little piece of Naughty Beaver, because Naughty brings myself and our Witness in the Desert event up. And he's talking to you about something that we were going to witness then. And he gives you a nice little nugget of truth. So listen to that. For those of you that don't know, you can go back and watch those videos and the experience that we had. And I think Naughty is just picking up on what exactly was really happening there. I love you very much. I will see you tomorrow. Malia and I are putting together a few different things, and we will come to you together to discuss these. It's really an encompassing of a lot of things that we've been working on and that we've been seeing. So it's going to be probably a longer show and a little bit longer for us to put together, but we're going to be working on that, and we'll do that and we'll bring that to you together. I love you very much. Watch these videos with an open heart. I'll see you soon.
I'd like to share with you a short passage from the Bible. It doesn't happen very often that I read from the Bible as part of a teaching. This is from the New Testament, and it is a parable that Jesus tells that is very profound and absolutely relevant to the present time. So here we go. Everyone who listens to these words of mine and does them will be like a man building a house, who dug deep and laid the foundation on the rock. The rain fell, the floods came, and the wind blew and beat against the house. But it did not collapse. It had been set solidly on rock. And everyone who listens to these words of mine but does not do them will be like a fool who built his house on sand. The rain fell, the floods came, and the wind blew and beat against the house. And it collapsed and was completely ruined. So let's understand the deeper meaning of this. Everyone who listens to these words and does them means obviously anybody who listens to the teaching and practices the teaching, and of course Jesus' teaching is find the kingdom of heaven that is within you, not anywhere else in space or time. Find the transcendent dimension, the kingdom of heaven that is within you, which is a deeper dimension or higher dimension of consciousness, accessible to everyone. And the man that's building the house is you. The house is you. The floods come, the rain comes, beating against the house, obviously means some form of adversity you encounter, as you inevitably will in your life, some form of fairly extreme adversity, whether it's in a personal level or, as we're experiencing now, on a collective level. Now, if you haven't gone deep enough, because remember, you are the house, if you haven't gone deep enough, you have not found anything beyond the conceptual thinking mind, then the floods, the rain, the wind, the adversity, whatever it may be, in this case we know what it is, will devastate you. And even if you do not fall ill or contract the virus, the fear will consume you as it's consuming millions of humans at the present time. And why do you fear? What is fear? Fear are certain thought forms. You project yourself into some future moment, and you're not present. Because if you were present, you would realize that in this moment there's nothing to fear. Only when you leave this moment, fear arises as a thought form, which then creates an emotion. So, what does it mean then to dig deep and to find the foundation on the rock? What is that rock? The foundation for the house that you are that house. And I'd like you to take into a little meditation now in order to illustrate and to enable you to experience at first hand what it means to dig deep. For a moment, just become aware that you're breathing. Become aware of yourself, not the conceptual self, not become aware of your personal history, or become aware of some imagined future moment, but become aware of yourself as the conscious presence, a field of conscious presence. And thinking does not help you there. Thinking is an obstacle. So you go deeper than thinking, and you can be completely awake and present, and yet with very little mind activity. And that is the beginning of the realization of your deep identity, what I sometimes call your essence identity. And your essence identity is inseparable from the present moment. It is the timeless, eternal present. It is a deeper dimension of consciousness than the one that you ordinarily identify with. And that is the meaning of digging deep and finding that unshakable foundation that is deep within you, within everyone. Adversity is a wonderful opportunity because adversity forces you to go deeper. Adversity forces you to awaken to the deeper dimension of who you are. Why does adversity force you? Because life becomes almost unbearable when you live only on the surface of sense perceptions and your conceptual mind. And then you listen to the newscasts and you read all kinds of things and everybody's in a state of fear. That is the house built on the sand that when the floods come, the wind comes, the storms come, the house collapses, meaning since you are the house in this parable, you are devastated, in a state of extreme anxiety, extreme suffering, although nothing actually has happened yet, unless you contract a disease, and this is something we'll talk about next time, right? Is the house, your house, the house that you are you living on the surface? Is your house built on sand, or are you able to dig and find the foundation within yourself that frees you from fear? Now, when things are going well, it's unlikely that most humans can't be bothered with going deeper. What for? These things are going okay. I'm looking forward to my next vacation. Weekend is coming up, and whatever it is, and a nice meal is waiting for me. Everything is comfort zone. You're in your comfort zone. I've never heard of anybody who awakens in their comfort zone. There's nothing wrong with comfort zone. Enjoy them when they're there. They last for a while, and then some form of adversity arises, either on a personal level or on a collective level. Minor forms of adversity, and occasionally huge forms of adversity. Potential calamities, whether it's you suddenly confronted with the fact of mortality, some great loss, serious illness on a personal level or on a collective level, war, civil strife, civil war, financial collapse, invasion of your country, all kinds of things can happen, and at the present time we are experiencing the so-called pandemic, collective adversity, not affecting just one person, but now affecting millions at the same time. And this is an invitation to go deeper, because if you don't, you suffer. unnecessarily. Millions are in a state of fear and anxiety. But use this as an opportunity to either awaken out of the mind-identified state of consciousness that continuously projects itself into the future, that you have no control over. It is never present. This mind-identified state of consciousness, that's the house built on the sand, or it's an opportunity to come to this realization that you are much deeper than you had known before. You are forced to go deeper because you can't stand the suffering anymore, the unhappiness, or whatever you want to call it, the anxiety. And so the most vital thing in any situation is the state of consciousness with which you meet the situation. And you should pay more attention to that than to the newscasts and whatever it is that you listen to and watch. Yes, you can do that also. But what is your state of consciousness? That's something you can do something about. It's not very much that you can do about the external situation. You can take precautions. You can help other people to the extent to which it is possible. All that's good. You do all the things that you need to do. And perhaps many people are now forced to stay at home, and suddenly you have to be suddenly on a private retreat at home. Now that's an opportunity too. So use this precious time that is here, because it is part of the awakening consciousness of humanity. It seems almost paradoxical to say that something that on the surface looks very negative and looks like an obstacle to the well-being of humanity, and yes, it's an obstacle to the well-being of humanity on a purely physical level, perhaps temporarily, yes. But something that looks like an obstacle from a conventional point of view is actually an opportunity for you to awaken to a deeper, or you could say higher, level of consciousness. Humans don't awaken when they're in their comfort zone. They awaken when they are taken out of their comfort zone. Not everybody does. It's an opportunity. If you do not awaken when you're no longer in your comfort zone, you suffer. You're unhappy, you're anxious, you're fearful. You haven't found the rock. Now, the difference between this parable and actual life is, in this parable, the man had already dug deep and he had already built his house on the rock, and then the floods came and so on, and the house was unshakable. In real life, often it is the case that the wind, the floods, the rains, that all beating against the house, which means adversity arising in your life, the adversity forces you, if you haven't already gone deeper, it forces you to go deeper. And so it's not too late to start digging now in the face of adversity. Many of you are already in the process of awakening. Probably most of you listening to this. And what's happening to us now is a wonderful opportunity for you to go deeper. A deepening of that, an acceleration of the awakening. So as much as possible, especially whenever you feel yourself drifting off into a fearful state of consciousness and a fearful emotional state, whenever you realize that in this present moment there's nothing to fear, and you have to verify this for yourself, whether this is true or not. When you fear something, it's of some imagined future moment. Am I going to catch this disease? Am I going to die? Is a loved one going to catch it? Is a loved one, my child, my parent, are they going to die? You imagine it could happen. But right now it's not happening. So whenever you feel yourself drifting off into fear, realize, okay, I have lost the present moment. And I lost myself in my mind, in the thinking mind. And I go over. And then the emotion reflects that mind activity. So the moment you notice it, okay, I've lost the present moment. I am lost in the mind. Come back into the present moment. A few little things are helpful. Be aware of your breathing. Be aware of the inner energy field in your body. The body is alive. This energy, this life energy that pervades the body, you feel that. You're breathing, you feel the aliveness in the body. You're aware of sense perceptions, you look around, you're present. And then you become aware of that presence that is inseparable from who you are. That presence that is inseparable from who you are. That's an amazing realization. There's more to you than the person. That presence is deeper than the person. And you needed the adversity either to find it or to deepen that which you had already found it, but it was not yet a deep realization. So, this is a time of great opportunity. Use it. Don't waste it. There's a saying that goes, when the ego weeps for what it has lost, the spirit rejoices for what it has found. So what looks bad on the surface has an essential function. I will speak to you again soon. In the meantime, be here, be present. Don't lose yourself in the mind. Don't lose yourself in fear. Find and be rooted in this rock that is your essence identity. Thank you.